クラブで一緒に騒いでかる男たちもやたら絡みたがる確かに評価はいいからチヤホヤされちゃうのもまあしょうがない
Let's talk about Cecil Stedman. Okay, so Cecil Stedman is a character from an animated and comic book series called Invincible. That's created by Robert Kirkman, who you may know as the creator of The Walking Dead as well. So you know this guy is really good. He knows his shit when it comes to storytelling. Cecil is the head of the GDA, which is the Global Defense Agency, which is a secret government agency in charge of keeping Earth safe from all superhuman threats. This ranges from supervillains to even alien invasions. They also have advanced technology like teleporters and camouflage tech that can make you completely invisible. They also manage the strongest defense team of superheroes and the last line of defense, the Guardians of the Globe. They are the most elite and strongest superheroes that exist on Earth and are tasked with combating any force that is deemed a threat to the lives of ordinary citizens. Because of his position and the unique threats that pervade their world, Cecil can be cold and very calculating, which makes him come off as bad to some people. He sees things for what they are and doesn't buy into any ideological frameworks. However, given his nature of using whatever he can to save lives in a world where any one individual can completely destroy it, he is nothing short of a hero in reality. Because in the Invincible universe, the Earth is always under threat. It requires constant crisis management, which cannot be undertaken by an individual who is constantly held to a strict ideological framework on what's right or wrong. It requires a person that can access the current situation and find real solutions to it in real time. It requires a utilitarian, which is embodied in Cecil, who is the ultimate utilitarian.
Same thing.
What are you gonna do with him?
I figure the classic lock him up and throw away the key. Impressive technology, though. Especially for something built in a sewer.
Sick, you mean?
Hard to believe they gave you a run for your money like that.
A lot of people seem to disagree with Cecil's actions in season 3, which is understandable. For example, instead of putting Francis Sinclair in prison, he'd employed him, though he still was under lock and key. Sinclair had killed numerous people and experimented on them to turn them into super strong cyborg killing machines. He nearly killed Mark's best friend William too. He used the new Darkwing as well that had killed many people that were criminals in his city. Not only that, but he used a number of other supervillains to help rescue the heroes from Doc Seismic, all of which from Mark's perspective was crossing well over a line. However, when you look at it logically, it makes perfect sense to use them. Francis Sinclair is a monster, but his Reaniman can be created from dead bodies, people who are already dead, so it's not like you're experimenting on living people who already served their time and lost their lives. Also, Reaniman are super strong. They even slow down Omni-Man for a little bit, so that's a testament to how strong they are, how much of an asset they can be. They are simply too valuable of a tool to not use, especially when it prevents real people from having to sacrifice their own lives. Without them, all the superheroes would have been dead, including Mark himself. Also, without the help of Darkwing, they would not have been able to capture or subdue Doc Seismic as easily. It might not be the most morally virtuous thing to do, but it's the best thing to do for the goal of saving the most lives. Cecil will use whatever tool he can that will minimize the risk of people dying.
Why the hell is he here? And why the fuck are those things here? He's a murderer. And those things, the guy who made those things, killed people. They almost killed my best friend.
He's right. I did terrible things. But that was before. I'm better now, thanks to Cecil.
Better? You should be in prison.
Are you okay?
Another point of contention is his relationship with the new Guardians of the Globe. They don't seem to understand the importance of their role, which leads them to see Cecil as an antagonistic force. In season 3 of the show, they even split apart because of his conflict with Mark. They remark on how they feel that Cecil thinks they're just his tools to use and that he is even willing to sacrifice them if needed.
We to him. We're weapons. Like his tanks and guns and all that stuff. Useful until we're not.
The reality that they don't want to accept is that they are. It is what they signed up for. Maybe it's because most of them are teenagers. They have a self-centered, individualistic point of view about their role in this position. They are soldiers at the end of the day. They are meant to be the last line of defense against superhuman threats. Their role is to fight and lay down their lives if necessary to protect the world from collapse. The original Guardians understood this. They were willing to follow orders and do what they needed to be done, in order to save lives. They realized it wasn't about them, but about the people in the world. The current Guardians are caught up in a bunch of personal bullshit. Mark is worried too much about his love life. Robot is all worried about his love life too, but he may just be playing the long con. Rex is still obsessed with himself and doing whatever he wants, and so much other bullshit. I know they're young, but they are literally the final line and the only hero group on Earth that they have against major threats. Imagine being in Cecil's position when you have to worry about everyday end-of-the-world scenarios that occur, and your strongest force against these is a bunch of whiny, selfish
Yeah, I
kids.
see you. But she's stronger than she looks. She'll make it. What? This place. What about it? We're supposed to be the best there is. Best superheroes on the planet. And? You serious? Okay, let's do the lineup. You got a guy who's supposed to be a genius, but the best idea he could come up with was to make himself a new body with DNA he stole from a coworker, so he could date a different coworker who currently does not want to date him. That same chick gets younger each time she uses her powers and doesn't seem to care she's gonna be eating strained carrots before too long. Our leader's a guy who's so old he shits dust, and his boss is a suit who sacrifices all in a second to save white America. Then there's the girl who broke all her bones trying to explode someone from the inside out, which is fucked up. The pyromaniac who's going through some heavy personal shit after he traded half his brain for a bullet. And finally, whatever the hell Shapesmith is. Here I am feeling left out.
Okay, first, you're bald, and hair was Samson's whole thing. And second, if you think we're the best superhero team on the planet, that head thing is secondary to your messed up judgment.
Mark may be a good person, and yes, he has saved many lives, but so has Omni-Man. And for many years, Omni-Man had presented himself as a loving husband, great father, and loyal to saving the people of Earth. But in an instant, he killed the most powerful defenders of that very same Earth. And add to matters, they all considered him to be a best friend. Omni-Man destroyed the city of Chicago and killed an untold number of people. He also has the ability to destroy the entire world on his own, and even threatened to do so.
Life, you don't know me. I will burn this planet down before I spend another minute living among these animals.
Cecil will be a fool to not want to keep close tabs on Mark also, or have some sort of countermeasure against him. They had no way of beating Omni-Man after all. He left the planet of his own free will due to his emotions overtaking him after nearly killing Mark. Mark has the same abilities, and if he really wanted to, he could kill everybody. He might not have the intention, but the reality is he can do so. And Omni-Man never seemed like he had the intention either, but he did. Cecil, like I said before, cares about saving lives no matter the cost. Unfortunately, Mark is both an asset and a liability in that area, especially with Mark making amends with Omni-Man despite all the things that he did. Also, with Mark having another brother who also has Viltrumite powers makes another concern. He might hate the idea of Cecil spying on him and his family or keeping tabs on him at all, but they have to be monitored. Once again, on principle, everyone should be entitled to privacy, but Mark and his brother could choose to destroy the world and nobody would be able to do anything about it, so they must be monitored. The problem with Mark is he doesn't truly realize the threat he poses or even the gravity of the situation the Earth is in right now. Just like the Guardians, he is caught up in his own personal bullshit. He is also hypocritical. He nearly killed Cecil for employing the use of villains, who I might add were reformed or reprogrammed really, while he perfectly fine with forgiving his dad despite doing far worse than any of the other villains could have possibly ever done. Mark has even shown to not be urgent when crises are looming, preferring to choose his pursuit of romance over even saving people.
Whoa! Christ almighty, I didn't think she would ever leave.
Hey! Oh, what are you... How did you know Amber... Are you spying on me?
Oh, you want to be a superhero, right? Fame, glory, get the pretty gal?
I mean, that's sexist, but... Okay.
Well, then the whole concept of personal privacy or me time, that's out the window. When the world needs you, you answer your goddamn phone. Don't worry, she hasn't flushed yet.
What is that?
I'll tell you what that is. Not our problem anymore.
We should check in with Cecil.
Forget it. I'm done with all that. So are you.
That's not why I came out here.
You came out here to get away from Rex and all that superhero bullshit.
Rex had nothing to do with this. I came out here because I needed to start over, but that doesn't mean ignoring the world when it needs me.
The world was fine before I came along. It'll be fine without my help. Better, probably.
I get that you're feeling shitty because Amber dumped you, but trust me, you'll feel worse if you sit here and do nothing when you could save lives.
I doubt it.
And finally, Cecil is not a bad person, but is forced into bad positions because of the world he lives in. Cecil can be hard and forceful with those who work under him. He does berate them and he uses harsh language, but it's never out of malice, nor does he enjoy doing that to them. To think of it, he hardly ever smiles at all, to be honest. He does these things to create a sense of urgency and to get people to take their work seriously. Yes, in the fight against Omni-Man, he was willing to let the kaiju monster kill Mark as long as it could kill Omni-Man at the same time. However, there was no other thing that they had that could stop him at the time, and Mark's loyalties were still unsure. Even in that situation, he admitted that he hated himself for making the choice, but he knows he had to do it. It was for the sake of saving the entire world.
Call it off! Mark's in there!
I can't do that, Debbie.
Why not?
Because I can't. Nolan killed the Guardians. He killed Donald. He shrugged off everything I've thrown at him, and now I don't know if Mark is with his father or against him. So I can't call off the one thing that might stop them both.
This is why I have always hated you.
That's why I hate me too.
He fixes and pays for all the damages that Mark and his mom, Debbie, had faced, creating a cover story for what happened to his dad and rebuilding their homes twice, providing them with all the money that they needed to survive and always being ready to help the family should they ever need it. Once again, Cecil is not an evil person. An entire alien race that are just as strong, or if not stronger than Omni-Man, is coming to take over the Earth. Thus, everything needs to be done to prepare for it, especially since they couldn't even take on Omni-Man by himself. All the while, the world's greatest heroes are caught up in personal drama with relationships, school, and subjective moral principles. This world that they live in needs someone who would actually do the work to protect it, not a do-gooder who wants to just put people in jail. It doesn't need an idealist, it needs the ultimate utilitarian.
Are you working with D.A. Sinclair?
Calm down.
He turned people into monsters. He almost killed William. He should be in prison.
He can't fix his mistakes in prison, Mark. Neither can Darkwing.
What are you even talking about?
D.A. Sinclair's a genius. Darkwing cracked from fighting endless crime in Midnight City. You don't waste people like that. You reform them. Repair them. Let them make restitution for their mistakes.
Mistakes? They murdered people! Rick still isn't right after what Sinclair did to him.
Sinclair's new reanimen are made with donated corpses. Darkwing will never kill again. They both went through severe psychological reprogramming. They save lives now, Mark, and are repaying the very substantial debt they owe us all.
That is bullshit, and you know it!
Is it? You killed Angstrom Levy. Should I lock you up too? Throw away the key?
You know that was different.
A man's still dead because of you.
And I think about it every single day. But he almost killed my mom and brother.
Exactly. You were trying to save lives, which is what I'm trying to do, so how about you extend me the same privilege and go home?
No way. I'm not going anywhere until Sinclair and Darkwing are both back in prison.